Time management is where all the money is made. Hopefully by now you've done that exercise where you drew the two pie charts to figure out where you're spending your time each month on a personal level and on a business level. Now, getting a hold of where you spend your time and really learning to manage your time is going to be the key for you to make the most money possible. The reason is simple. Your time is the only limited resource. Now, I mentioned in the pre-launch series that the secret to building wealth is simply resource management. And of course, labor is one piece of that, one type of resource, and that's what this outsourcing is all about. But your time, amongst all the resources used to build wealth for anyone, is the only limited resource. It's the only true limited resource. You only have so many hours in a day and in a week and in a month. So unless you really get a handle on your time, unless you're really using your time, whatever it is, if you're only able to spend 3 hours a week on your business or 40 hours a week on your business, it doesn't matter. Unless you're able to maximize that time, you're never going to be able to make as much money as possible and to grow your business as fast as possible. So it's very, very important that you really, really understand that. I know it's kind of common sense and most people do, but you've really got to start respecting it. You have to respect it and value it and make a promise to yourself that if you really want to make more money in your business and really start building wealth at a fast pace, you will learn to really manage your time. Now, to recover more time is to make more money. So if you look at all the time that you're spending now on all different sorts of things, the more things that you can take back and not have to spend as much time on, the more money you're going to make. So here we see kind of suspect number one as a time killer. Email. Email robs us of so much time. I mean, think of how much time you spend every day probably checking your email, replying to emails, and just spending on email. Email takes a lot of time, and all the time you're spending on email is taking money away from your business. You know, one of the best things I ever did personally as an entrepreneur, a few years ago, I basically declared email bankruptcy, so to speak. I had thousands of emails in my inbox, and I was just like, you know what? Not only is this stressing me out and just a lot of work to, reply to all these emails, but there just has to be a better way. So basically what I did was I changed my email address. I set up an autoresponder. So anyone that emailed me, it would bounce back a message that basically said, hi, this email address is no longer in use due to a large amount of spam and other email. I just don't have time to use this email address anymore. And then I gave kind of like a frequently asked questions type thing in that autoresponder message where I said, are you looking for customer support for one of my products? And of course, then I linked to an online ticket support system where the customer support is handled. And then I said, if you're looking for, joint venture types of proposals, or to send me one, I should say, then at one point, I ended up getting someone to handle that mail. And so I just put their email address and their contact information. But I thought of all the different things that people contact me in email for. And this is what I want you to do. Right now, if you're spending a lot of your time on email, I want you to take a moment and do this exercise and basically categorize all the different types of email that you get every day or every week. What types of emails are those? Is some of it junk? Is some of it where you're on, other marketers' lists where you're looking for, different just types of promotions and keeping up with what other people are doing, or maybe it's other people's lists in your market or niche? Well, you need to find a way to kind of filter that stuff into only the most important types of email, and then only pay attention to that. But if you're getting a lot of spam, of course, to an email address that you've used for a while, it's time to change your email address. Change your email address, and even in the bounce back message, you can say, this is my new email address. That alone will cut down a lot of your email, because anyone that's legitimately contacting you will read the autoresponder message and then, of course, email you at that new email address that you mentioned in the autoresponder message once you say that, that email address is no longer being used, the first one. So really look at what kind of email you get and figure out how you can really eliminate it. A lot of people in your business, or that you're coming, that you're dealing with and you're working with, everyone doesn't need access to you via email. You don't need to be just this open, kind of contact source where your email address is listed on your Facebook account and Twitter and on your website and all this kind of stuff, because it's just going to suck more and more of your time when people are contacting you just to say hi, or just to say, hey, you may want to look at this blog post, or hey, I wanted to tell you this, or hey, I want to tell you that, or hey, do you know where I could find a good place to shop for this? I saw it on your site. I mean, that stuff takes money away from you. You don't realize. Most people think, oh, no, that's relationship building. No, it's not relationship building. There's certainly some relationship building that can go on through email, but you can also use the phone for that if it's to really build a powerful JV or a relationship for your business. A lot of email is just a waste of time because it's too easy to send for people and it's just too easy to get caught up with it, with checking it every 5 minutes. So that's what I want you to do is really examine your email. By the way, all this stuff about getting you recovering more time is going to really come into all the outsourcing stuff, and that's why I'm making this a point to bring all this up, is because you're going to learn to outsource more and more and more things that take up your time. So eventually, you can have your whole business, your whole life essentially running without you really doing much at all. And so when you do spend time in your business, it will be creative time. It will be smart time, or it'll be coming up with the next big idea that can make you more money, where you can pass it on to your team, have it done, have it grown, have it executed for you. And that's what's going to maximize your success. So email is one of them that takes away a lot of time. Social networking, a huge, huge time killer. Most people are so sucked into Facebook and Twitter and all this kind of stuff. Let me tell you a little secret that most people, other marketing teachers and other people in the market, aren't going to come out and really tell you, or maybe they don't even realize it themselves. And this is my opinion, but I have my own data to back it up. Social networking, when ranked with other fundamental things to bring in money to your online business, is one of the lower ranking components. There are many other core things that will bring in more money and cash to you and your business than social networking. Pay-per-click advertising kicks the crap out of all social networking. Search engine optimization and creating content to generate free traffic kicks the crap out of all social networking. There are a lot of other things that you can do, such as building a list, nurturing a relationship with the list, and doing these other things that will yield far more cash faster and in the long term than social networking. I'm not just trying to poo-poo on all social networking. It does definitely have a value. It can definitely bring you clients to your business. If you're in some kind of consultancy where you're doing consulting work, it's a great way to network with people and you can find clients that way. But overall, so much of social networking isn't targeted. It's mass market. It's hard to find targeted prospects in many ways. Of course, there are ways to target it with Facebook ads and doing other things. But hanging out on Twitter and getting into conversations with people and getting on Facebook and messaging people and writing on their walls and doing all this kind of stuff, in almost every single case, that's not going to bring more cash into your bank account. Again, I hate to be the one to say this because so much is being said about social media these days, and there are these success stories about social media like Dell and Zappos and all these other companies, but of course, what no one in the social media space wants to realize or even admit is that companies like those, like Dell, for example, they already have $1 billion brand. They already have hundreds of millions of website visitors. They're not making all the money on their campaigns because of Twitter. They added Twitter and they're also doing something tacked into all their other traffic. So don't fall in the trap of thinking Twitter and Facebook are the end all to building your business, because they're not. I have made 100 times more money doing things that have nothing to do with Facebook and Twitter, and I think that will always be the case because of those fundamentals I told you about. Pay-per-click advertising, joint ventures as well, creating content, doing some search engine optimization, that kind of stuff, building your list, cultivating your list. That's where the money is made. Of course, creating new products to sell to a market. So enough of that rant. Be very careful with how much time you spend on social networking. Again, I'm not saying, I want to clarify this so people don't, call me out on this. I'm not saying it doesn't have value and it can't bring you business. But what I'm saying is, if you're not at a certain level in your business, let's say if you're not doing several $100,000 a year already in your business, you have no reason to use social networking yet, because there are other things that you haven't tapped into and maximized before you get into the stuff, before you even need the social networking stuff that you need to do first. So I just want to point that out, and also just the fact that the word social, should tell you right there that that's a time waster in many ways. It's too easy to get sucked into having conversations with people and doing things, and hours can go by, you've wasted a whole day, your business isn't growing, so you got to be careful with that. And throughout this course, we're going to talk about how you can get outsourcers to manage some of the social networking things for you and your brand and your business and your websites. So you don't even have to do that as well if you don't want to. But be very careful with the amount of time you spend on social networking. Another big one is, of course, web surfing. We all do it. We go to our favorite blogs, we read our favorite news sites, we check stats, we do all this stuff, and then we do what my friend Dean Jackson calls the OCD loop, We start back around all over again. Check our email, check our stats, go to those blogs, read news things, watch the funny videos that we like on those certain sites. Then after an hour goes by, we check email, we look at stats, it just starts all over again. Got to be very careful with how much time you spend on web surfing. I would challenge you to not use the internet very much for a few days and see how that affects your business. Imagine that you've only got 30 minutes of internet access a day, and that's the only time you can actually be online. So you can write content, you can create products, you can do a lot of stuff offline, and you need to be focusing more on that kind of stuff because that's really what's going to bring the money in for you. So try to reduce the amount of time you spend surfing the web, and you'll make more money. Customer support. Now, I'm in by no way suggesting here, and some people thought I was in the pre-launch videos when I was talking about outsourcing customer support, that I meant just get some people to do your customer support with you so your customers will be treated badly. It's actually the opposite. You can set up, and we're going to go over all this in the course, you can set up policies and procedures and do things so your customers are treated like absolute gold, even if you're not the one doing the customer support. So there's not a lot of money in customer support. It takes time to answer the phone and call people back and answer emails and online support tickets and deal with billing issues and deal with why can't I download my software, or why can't I download my ebook, or how do I get the refund, or my affiliate stats aren't tracking right. All that stuff that comes with customer support. If you're doing your own customer support, this course is going to hopefully help you quickly start moving toward getting someone else to do it for you, and that's going to save you a lot of time, because customer support takes a lot of time. So if you're doing it all yourself, I got great news for you. In a very, very short amount of time, you're going to learn to not have to do that anymore. The other big place where people spend a lot of their time is simply trying to learn skills to solve bottlenecks. We've talked a little bit about this already as we're kind of building up steam, moving towards who we should hire first, and moving towards how to go out and actually hire people, which is going to come in the next module. Talk about where the technical side of things for many online marketers is really what holds people back. It's that constraint. That's the big constraint in the business. So just like I mentioned in the pre-launch series where I talked about how I had the idea for that myitem.com site, where I wanted the idea to make a little web-based service for people to have photos in eBay auctions. But I spent, weeks of going and buying books to learn how to program it myself. And then I was looking at online forums to try to figure some things out where other programmers were hanging out. And what changed things for me was when I was, able to just write someone a small check and have them do it for me. Well, most people, when they get into the online business, they think the only way I'm going to succeed is if I just learn everything there is to running an online business, how to create web pages, how to upload things to servers and change server, configurations, how to do this, how to do that. The only way I can be successful with this business is if I just learn how to do it all. Otherwise, I'll be lost. It's not the case at all. The most successful marketers that you know online today or that you've heard of or other businesses, practically none of them know how to create HTML code and JavaScript and deal with server stuff. They all just outsource that to other people because it takes years to master that stuff, and it's not where the money is. The money's in the marketing. The money is in running the business and growing the business and serving a market and selling things to a market or promoting things to a market. So you have to be careful when you're, probably finding yourself going to the bookstore, buying books to learn something to do with, the internet business, or reading blogs or going through tutorials and really trying to learn things like creating web pages and setting up servers and all that kind of stuff. We're going to get you to outsource those bottlenecks, and it's going to make you get on the fast track to moving full speed ahead in your business where you never have to do that stuff. Look, I have built several multi-million-dollar ventures internet-based over the last 15 plus years, and I don't create web pages myself. I don't write the HTML code and any of the other code for that matter. I don't deal with any of the technical stuff. I don't do the customer support stuff. Many of the content I have written for me. So you can imagine if I have done it and done it many, many times over, and I don't waste my time with any technical stuff, you shouldn't be doing it either. And because it doesn't cost a lot of money. So that's what we're going to get more into as we move towards who your first hire is going to be or should be. But think about how much time you're probably spending right now trying to learn new skills to solve bottlenecks that, where you can't progress in your business. And we're going to get you to stop doing that and simply get someone else to do it for you very, very inexpensively.